Hey there, how you going? Today's webinar is the Power of Pilates for Wellbeing, Fitness and Strength. My name is Vanessa Bartlett and I've been a fitness trainer, Pilates instructor for around 20 years now. So I'm going to take you through some really helpful information today, just to help you really understand the difference, I suppose, between Pilates and other forms of exercise and how it can actually help your well-being and really enhance your body and your mental health as well and your mindset. So let's begin. Now, you may have heard of different exercise styles: Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi, boot camp, boxing, aerobics, HIIT classes, weights, and there's lots more as well. All styles are great in their own way and can give you different benefits. Now, as a fitness trainer, I've done pretty much all of these styles at one point or another and have enjoyed getting to learn a variety of exercises and movements for my body. When you're exercising, though, it's important that you get a balance right between a few things. So you need to do your cardiovascular exercise. So this builds your lung capacity, your heart, keeps your heart healthy, helps boost your metabolism, enhances fat burning, and builds fitness and endurance, okay? Then you've got your strength type exercise. Now, whether this is weights, bands, I love to use resistance bands, or body weight type exercises, you'll benefit by strengthening your body and toning your muscles here. Strength moves will help to increase your muscle mass, your bone density, power, muscle tone, and assist with keeping your metabolism on track as well. So sometimes people make the mistake of thinking that purely cardio work, like walking or bike riding, is the thing that will make them lose the weight. But no, that's not actually true. In fact, when you strengthen all your muscles and focus on overall body strength, you will help your muscles use more energy, helping you with shaping and weight loss overall as well, if that's a goal for you. Next, we want to look at stretching. So stretching exercise, this helps your muscles and ligaments stay limber and mobile. Stretching helps prevent injuries and helps balance out your body, getting rid of stiffness as well. If you're inflexible, it can cause a problem with your range of movement. And with limited range of movement, this is where other muscles will overcompensate and cause other injuries like strains or, just overuse, aches and pains in different parts of your body, or even muscle tears as well. The next thing you need to be mindful of is mindfulness and meditation. This is not necessarily a form of exercise that you should include, but I believe it's a really important part of a healthy lifestyle. There's a lot more stress that we're having to face these days. Life is getting busier and it's not really going to get any slower for anybody. So you need to make time to better deal with stress and learn strategies around that, and to keep your mind focused not on only on your goals within your own life, but be able to better juggle what life throws at you as well. When you're more mindful and present during exercise and in general, this will help keep your mind clearer, give you better body awareness as well, and maintain your health in general. After all, keeping good health is about keeping your body, mind, and spirit at its best, and they all work in unison with each other. So I'm going to tell you a little bit now about how I fell into Pilates, so to speak, and why I focus on this as mostly my primary form of exercise nowadays. There's a few reasons for this. Now, when I was younger, I did various sports, dancing and all types of exercise at the gym, being a young personal trainer. I actually joined the gym when I was 14. I lied and told them I was 15 because you had to be 15. Anyways, I was a young personal trainer in my early 20s, got started, had lots of clients, loving teaching classes and doing all that stuff at the gym. I did that for a lot of years, but then got to a point where I couldn't sustain it anymore. My health was beginning to suffer. I was getting sick every couple of months, feeling mental fog, never feeling like my muscles were recovering properly, so I was always sore, and wanted to sleep for hours during the day, even after having a good night's rest. And this didn't make sense to me because I thought, well, exercise is supposed to energize you. I'm supposed to be this, young, fit, healthy person. What's going on here? And, it was funny because so many of my clients were feeling great after my classes and sometimes even stay for 2 in a row. Whereas I would have to go home and then sleep for like 3 hours, even if I slept for 8 or 9 hours the night before, which was getting ridiculous. And that didn't make sense to me at all. Now, it took 2 years to get a diagnosis from a doctor who was a little bit more holistic in his approach. And he told me that my adrenal glands were burnt out. And look, I was kind of running on empty. So you've ever known that feeling where you just feel so lethargic and so tired, like you've got no more fuel in your tank? That's how I felt all the time. I didn't even know what that meant because I'd never really learned about my adrenal glands or, burnout in any of the fitness courses that I'd done. And he said to me that I had to stop all the hard and fast-paced exercise that I had done for so many years. I had to start going to bed earlier, change my eating, and basically change my entire lifestyle. Now, that meant for me, I needed to stop essentially what I was doing every day and look to do something else. And that was a little bit of a worry because that's all I'd ever done. And it's a really hard thing as well because it's kind of like you have to break away from your colleagues, and they didn't really know what was going on because I was tired, but it wasn't really a visual illness or anything like that. But I just knew that if I didn't stop and make some changes, I would never actually feel better. So I cut back on teaching the harder classes, stopped doing my own workouts and all these activities, and started to really bring it back to basics and go, well, what does it take to stay energized and stress-free? Because I knew I was quite stressed as well, and actually keep a fit, toned body without pushing myself to the max. So I started to research better ways to eat, easier ways to exercise, and just live healthier in general. I knew I wanted to do some form of exercise, so I thought I'd try the mind-body stuff at different studios because I'd never really done yoga or Pilates before this point. I didn't really understand it or understand the benefit. And I noticed a couple of things. I started to go to these different classes, which were a lot slower, a lot more breathing focus, and a lot more movement focused. Of course, yoga, is more stretching and more lengthening your body. Pilates is more working on your core and really getting muscles isolated. And I'd never really done that, but I noticed that I started to feel better after doing these sorts of exercises. See, at that point, I was so chronically tired that if I did even 20 minutes on the treadmill or weights or, even a half a boxing class or something, I would just feel horrible at the end of that. But instead, I started to feel good after an hour of yoga or Pilates. And I thought, oh, there's something in this. There's something different that's happening to my body here for me to actually feel invigorated again, because I hadn't felt that in almost 2 years, right? So I decided to start studying Pilates and have done lots and lots of courses since that point. So that was around 10 years ago now. And then I started to do a lot more of the natural healing, looked into Reiki, and I got some pranic healing sessions and released all negative energy from my body and my mind, and just started to look at all these different alternative ways to get healthier as well for my body, mind, and my spirit. So I'd like to talk to you now about what Pilates actually is. It's a specialized set of exercises that help the body realign postural imbalances, connect the mind, body, and breath, and strengthen and tone your muscles without any impact. Now, it was created by a man named Joseph Pilates back in the early 1900s. He was a very sick child, so as he grew older, he trained in different forms of sports and fitness to get stronger. Things like acrobatics, boxing, yoga, and even circus performing as well. He then developed his own set of exercises later in life to help people rehabilitate and strengthen their muscles in a different way, with a focus on holding the center or the tummy in the back and the core as the main focus and as the basis for other movement. And this is really important because this also helps injury prevention as well. The whole idea is that while all exercise is good for your body, most exercise lacks the technique of keeping your core strong and your muscles in the right position before doing a movement. Okay, and the problem is that when you lift a weight or do a stretch or run and your core and your posture are not correct, you risk injury and imbalancing your body. So think of it like this. Like a house couldn't be built on a crooked foundation, right? Or with one side of bricks different to the other side. It would be lopsided. So Pilates is like giving your body the foundation, the alignment, and the length in your spine so that you're tall and very much balanced from right to left, and then from front to back as well. If you ever go to a physiotherapist with a sore back, it's very likely that they'll tell you to do some core exercises. Many people recommend Pilates these days as a way of rehabbing, but also maintaining a good level of strength in those really important core muscles, plus hips and shoulders and the whole body. So in this sense, it becomes preventative if you do it regularly, and will certainly improve the rest of your exercise. I've had so many clients over the years say that if they start doing Pilates, even 1 or 2 sessions a week on top of, let's say, if they're a really good runner or swimmer, gymnast, I've taught professional athletes as well, and then, everyday people as well, just getting that better flexibility and core strength, less back pain, better range of movement when they're doing weights and things. That's what tends to happen. So it actually ends up enhancing your other forms of exercise and movement with everything that you do. So it's a nice complement, but it's also great to do on its own. So who is it for? Now, I've taught Pilates to professional footballers, as I said, to gymnasts, to dancers, to everyday mums, dads, and kids from ages basically 6 up to 80 years old. It is literally for anyone of any age and is safe. It was also fantastic for me in rehabbing my stomach muscles, which are separated 7 centimeters after I had my first baby. And then I had a very badly injured back from that as well. So I knew at least how to strengthen my pelvic floor, my core muscles again, and really rebuild my body, because I literally couldn't walk after having the baby. That was very difficult. Had I not have known about Pilates and done this and been familiar with it, I think I would have not been able to help and rehab myself as I did. Okay, so yeah, it is literally for anyone because it's low impact, and most of the time you're using your body weight and just light equipment to build your strength, really strengthening and challenging your deeper muscles, which are responsible for the posture, holding your skeleton up, and just really improving that alignment and deeper level of movement. We're not just talking about the surface layer of muscles where, like, I feel a lot of weights and big heavy movements just get the outer muscles, whereas if you slow things down, you use the bands, you really learn to control your body weight through the air, like really push and pull, work from a center, you're going to activate deeper muscles, and often those muscles have not been activated or isolated. That's where the problem begins when you get injured, because the small muscles don't know what they're doing. So it's really beneficial to do this and have that balance between the small stabilizing muscles being strong and then your outside more surface muscles being strong as well. Okay. Now there's different types of Pilates that you may have heard of. Now, I believe all are great in different ways. There is not really one that's better than the other. It depends on where you're at and what you need. So, for example, going to a really good Pilates studio with equipment like you can see in the picture here is great for people who do need rehab, who can't get up and down off the floor very well. And if you need that real specific physio rehab, after an injury, or if you're coming back from an illness or something like that, this is where the machinery can actually assist you, perhaps if you're not strong enough yet or if you're needing that guidance. But like I said, getting up and down off the floor is a big thing. So the equipment is great for that. However, you can still get just as strong and toned and fit by doing really good quality floor classes based on body weight and small apparatus, which is pretty much what I do 95% of the time now. Then you've got your traditional mat Pilates. So this is where you only use your body weight or perhaps a Pilates circle or band. As I said, I love this style because you can do it anywhere, and it really teaches you how to hold your body strong without relying on that equipment. You will find mat work in larger facilities and Pilates studios, but be aware that it's not good to go to a large group, even though it may seem cheaper, because the large gyms often put teachers who are qualified quite fast, and I've seen it, in very short courses with little experience. And you're probably not going to get a great experience if you have 50 people in the room. Half of those people are brand new, a couple of them are injured, and then the rest are advanced. So it's very difficult for an instructor to manage a group like that. That's why I actually stopped working at big facilities. And it is much better for you to invest in. If you need that really specific help, invest in a studio or smaller to medium-sized classes, which are manageable for the instructor and yourself, and you're going to get more attention and just better detail. Okay, reformer Pilates. This is a large piece of equipment that is good to do if you've had an injury, or like I said before, finding it hard to get up and down off the floor. Okay, there's also trap tables and other types of things, wonder chairs in those studios. You'll pay more to attend a session with this sort of equipment, this traditional equipment, because it's very expensive for instructors to invest in, but it is well worth it for the variety. And like I said, if you need that extra attention or one-on-one, definitely invest in that. You will get so much benefit from it. Okay, now to give you an example, I've undergone about 1,000 hours of training, probably more. I signed off on that a few years ago. More than that, I don't know, 2,000 hours of training, and done years of study in all the Pilates equipment. Whereas a general mat instructor in a larger facility, perhaps, may only have done a 1-week course. So, you know, if you're going to do face-to-face classes, make sure you're going somewhere that's really well trained. If you are postnatal, make sure you have someone that is qualified in that as well, okay? So look, it's not to put you off these things. There are so many excellent instructors out there, but it's just to let you know that if you want high quality training or recovery from an injury, you must find highly qualified people to take you through that. So just ask them, or, you know, ask them how many people are in the class, or you'll get a feel for it, okay? Let's move on. So what are your core muscles then? What's this whole thing about the core? As we mentioned, your core is the center of the body, and it's where your movement will generate from. If you've had a weak core or poor posture, your body will always be moving and overusing other muscles, which will cause aches and pains, injuries, and imbalances throughout your body. Now, there's different layers of your core. Have a look in this diagram. A very important muscle running down the back is the multifidus. This actually supports the spine. The transverse abdominals, these are the deeper muscles, very, very important to activate these. They are at the front of the tummy but closest to the spine, and help your core stay strong and pulled inward, okay? Your rectus abdominals are actually the top, that's the next one here. Your rectus abdominals are the top layer of tummy muscles that help with keeping the inner core strong, plus help with movement as well. But this is where the six-pack look will show, but don't be fooled. This takes a huge amount of work to get, you know, that definition, that six-pack thing happening. And it doesn't just happen by doing 1,000 sit-ups a day, right? The problem with normal sit-ups and crunches is that often people are not pulling in their transverse abdominis enough. And then what happens is there's an overuse of the rectus abdominis, but really the deep core, the multifidus, the transverse is not actually really being strengthened very well. So it's kind of like you're not getting the most benefit out of it. So technique is a really important thing, whether you're doing online classes or videos. Listen very carefully to the instructions given, it or also in a face-to-face class as well. Like we said, the problem with tummy exercises, many sit-up type movements do not teach you to work from your deeper muscles, also the pelvic floor, which is responsible for helping you to not feel like you're going to wee, and your transverse abs. And it's very common to get neck or back pain when you do these exercises. Have you ever had that? Because you are not truly using the deeper muscles, and it's all kind of momentum based and bad posture, like in this example. So what I like about Pilates is that it teaches you to properly breathe again and to build up your deeper muscles and posture. Then you add stronger movements once you have mastered those basics. And this will make all the difference with back pain prevention and healing back pain, posture, body awareness, your strength, your flexibility, just with your movement in general. So obviously you can see it's very beneficial to your body. But how can Pilates help with mental health, which is a huge, huge thing? And unfortunately, mental health stats are on the rise because we know life is busy. I believe it has a lot to do with stress and pressure and social media and things. So just be mindful of where you're at. How can it help with your mental health then? Well, exercise is a great tool to help you manage and decrease stress. Getting your body moving will help your mind focus on breath and muscles, sweat out toxins and negative energy. Okay, so all exercise is great for this. However, there are a few things to take note of. What I find is the Pilates type exercise is more controlled. So let's say, for example, you are highly stressed or feeling anxious and your heart rate is up and your breathing is up. The last thing you want to do is then go into an environment where you're intimidated or you're not comfortable in a big gym with a lot of people. It's noisy, it's stressful. So you're adding stress when you're already stressed. Okay, then there's fast music going, which also brings up your heart rate. So can you see how that's a bit of a contradiction, where why would you want to add stress and high impact load if you're already very tired or very stressed and anxious, for example, just to do with mental health? That's actually going to hinder your health and make you feel probably worse after. Whereas if you go into an environment or even doing it from home where it's a slower pace of exercise, like even yoga, Pilates, obviously you can see I love Pilates, and you're breathing with the movements, it's actually bringing your mind into a more present state. So when you're more present, you know that your body will relax. Your breathing can return to normal. You can kind of let go of any stressful or negative thoughts that you have because you're more in the moment and present. So I find that this can really help with mental health. I actually worked with some social workers and we got an award a few years ago for innovation in healthcare. And what we were doing was taking some mental health clients from a hospital, and they were coming to do Pilates and meditation classes with me. So in order for them to not feel anxious, I would actually dim down the lights. We had 2 social workers and myself in the room, so people knew they had, help if they needed it. And the classes run about 45 minutes, not the full hour. And these people, it was amazing to see because they were very highly anxious. Like they couldn't work. They weren't in a state where they could actually work or function in society all that well, to be honest. So working with these people over time, we got to see that their posture got better. They got more flexible. They got stronger. And then we would say to them, how are you feeling with these classes? And they'd say, well, it's easy for me to go and walk on a treadmill and think about all my problems. But if I'm in here, I don't have time to think about the problems because I'm focused on the exercise and the breathing. So that was really powerful. And I thought, oh, that's interesting because, this is the extreme end of things and it can really help people going through this. So it can help all of us in some way relieve some kind of stress on a level, okay? And it's very beneficial to do this mind-body stuff, as you know, with busy life, and just to get, that stress out of your mind and your body, okay? It's kind of like it makes you feel relaxed but energized at the same time. It's a funny thing. You'll have to try it and see how you feel. So the principles of Pilates here, this is what it's all about. So centering, working from your core, control. Each movement is controlled, not using momentum. We want to be precise with our technique. Breathing, every movement must match a certain breath. Concentration. You must be mindful that every move is in conjunction with another body part working as well. So when your arm is up here, well, what's this shoulder doing? Is it still down or did it come up? Is your tummy in? Okay, so it's combining things. Flow. We want to move gracefully through the exercises even when you go to the next one. Sometimes you kind of like stumble and roll over and go, oh, now I've got to do the other side. Well, if you're actually more controlled in those transitions, it will benefit you as well. Here's just a few pictures of the classes I've done. Can it help with weight loss? This is a really interesting question. Yes, it can assist with weight loss if you are eating correctly and doing at least 4 sessions a week. You need to still walk and do a couple of cardio sessions, okay? If you do one of my stronger videos or classes, then you will essentially be doing cardio. But traditional Pilates mat work is not necessarily cardio in the sense of walking or swimming or jogging, okay? So you still need to do that as well. But the stronger your body is and the better your metabolism is, weight loss can occur because you'll burn more calories. But of course, it's down to eating as well. Tips for core strength, finally. Before you even start, you can do a couple of things right now to improve your core strength. Sit up straight and start to work your core the right way. Draw your tummy in, set your shoulders down. When you get started with your Pilates-based exercises, breathe. Deep breath in and out. Try not to hold your breath. Always work from pulling your tummy muscles inward and try to keep them in for the entire exercise. Set your shoulders down and back, even when you're moving your arms up and down or out to the side, whatever it may be. And those simple tips will really help you to get in good practice for doing your exercises. Okay. Now, I hope you enjoyed this. It's really interesting to just kind of hear, I suppose, well, hopefully you found it interesting, just to hear, I suppose, a different spin on things and the power of Pilates. I hope you can see the benefit for your body and your mind, and that you do try it at some point. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch up with you on another webinar. Bye.